guys, this is Marlene Norgard with Patriot Cakes, and today I'm going to be doing a London Bus slash Beatles cake. So they want it all kind of rolled into one. So I have already done all my chocolate cake. I only have one out right now because I want them to stay nice and cold. So I have the rest in the fridge, so I'll just go back and forth as I need them. I want them firm because I did thin layers this time, because none of my cake molds would fit this. So everything was just a bit too narrow. So I just did my big sheet pans. So I have a lot of sheet pans full of cake. So hopefully we have enough. We'll see. I also have another cake board with, I put some tape on it just so that it would seal everything in, so none of the cake would lose all of its moisture. So that's going to go here because I'm going to have a little space in between here and in the back for where the passengers go in and out of the bus. So because it's a stacked bus, so we need to have it in there so that the cake does not settle down in that one area. So I already have my buttercream, vanilla buttercream, chocolate cake, and I do previously made my raspberry filling that I made out of, I think I used frozen raspberries. I did this last week because it lasts 2 weeks in the fridge. So I did that ahead of time. It's a lot easier. And it lasts 2 weeks, so I did it last week on the stove. So have that ready to go. So we're gonna go ahead and start stacking buttercream and raspberry in between, and kind of carving as I'm going as well, just because it's gonna be a little finicky. only did 2 layers of raspberry just because it's very tall. I don't want it to slide back and forth. So, and I also, as you can see, I had to make another buttercream because I didn't make enough buttercream. It's fine. I had some extra butter sitting on the counter just in case. I always do that. So I do have an extra buttercream now. So what we're going to do is finish carving a little bit here and there, and then I'm going to do my crumb coat of buttercream and let that chill for quite a bit so it can become a nice solid structure. And we're going to have to get to the nooks and crannies and everything, so it's going to be a little bit. And then I'm going to start my fondant and all that stuff. So that's really the fun part. That's the really fun part. And I also have some really cool sugar decorations and some previous fondant work that I've done, as well as an actual cake board that it's going to go on top of that's Beatles-esque, and I'll show you that in a little bit. So this is really cool. What I did on here, I'll show you in a second. I am going to cover this. I've already buttercreamed everything. I've done my crumb coat and my final coat for the fondant. This time I didn't color my own fondant. I went ahead and bought pre-made red, and the reason why is not only just it's easier, but when you're coloring fondant, it has a lot of liquid in the color dye, so you have to add a lot of color, whether it's gel, liquid, whatever. You have to add a lot to get it this red. So I want a nice red London bus, and I didn't want all that moisture in it, otherwise it'd just be very floppy. I still want it kind of stiff because I still don't really know what I'm going to be doing with this London bus and what colors I'm going to be using, so I wanted to get one that's pre-made already. And then I thought it'd be funky, since I'm doing Beatles, to do a tie-dye top to it, because what I'm going to be doing is putting, she's turning 64, so I'm putting When I'm 64 on there for the lyrics to the Beatles song. And I thought it'd be really funky to add in a little hippie element without being too hippie, because they didn't want it too hippie. So what I did was I rolled out different colored fondants. I colored each fondant individually, and I rolled them into long strips, and then I put all the strips together, and then I slowly scrunched them together. Thank you, Callie. And then I scrunched them together, and then I folded them in half, and then I scrunched it together again, and then I folded it in half again until I had a ball. So what I'll do is I'll choose a really cool side, and I will start to roll that out for the top. But right now I'm going to work on the red fondant, kneading it a little bit, and then we're going to bring the bus back in here, and we're going to put the fondant on the bus so I can start decorating the fun stuff. Completely covered this thing in red fondant. Not easy because of all the different angles. I want to make sure I got like the funky angles that it has. This is going to be black, so I haven't done that in red. I'm going to switch to a different color here in a second. So I just wanted to make sure that I got it all the red done first and all my angles. So I also am going to clean this up, and I'm going to put, I like to do like little strips down here just so it looks cleaner, because this is actually the board right here, so I want it to be uniform, and it's just really hard to do it sometimes, and like right here is a little messed up, but there's ways of fixing that, and I'm putting some stuff over there. So right now I'm going to put on the colored piece. I did cut out my red piece up here, so we're going to put that really funky tie-dye up there. So we're going to roll that out and put it on top. Covered this thing completely in fondant, except for the tires that are going to be last. I've also applied the little retro looking tie-dye up top, which will later have the letters. I did go ahead and make some sugar windows, which are really cool, and I've already put these up and trace them so I can cut them out, and then I'm going to place all the windows. And then I have some signs that I'm going to cut out and place too. I have a big window for the front, and I also have to trace out my other windows. I forgot to trace my windows. And then we will continue to place the signs and just decorate. working on this. I'm going to add some stuff to it today to make it look more like a London bus, and obviously add on my wheels and stuff too. So still got a lot of work to do on it, and I'm going to add some finishing details like on the top and kind of make it pop, and then we're going to airbrush it at the end. Done. So now I've finished all the little knickknacks that I want on here, and so I have London Tours on one side, I have Happy Birthday Jody, and the shop that her and her husband went that the Beatles, I guess, performed at, so Cafe Nero, so he wanted that in there. That was a special thing. And on top it says when I'm 64, I'll get a shot of that later, with some music notes, and just made it look like more like a London bus. So we're gonna use some red and silver, and I might even use a little black. We'll see what happens. I'm just gonna kind of freehand it and just go for it. So we're gonna start and do that. Our London bus cake with the Beatles. You can see the Beatles are in the bus, they're passengers. So I kind of just made it look rugged and dirty and like a bus. It's not perfect. So we did the little pole where you get on. I have all the windows, they're all poured sugar. And this is just a lot of fondant work, and on top I have one of 64 because she's turning 64. So this cake was about 12 and a half hours over a period of a few days. And again, it is chocolate cake, which is my favorite recipe I have, is my chocolate. That and my carrot cake recipe. And vanilla, buttercream, and the raspberry filling, which is absolutely delicious. I could just eat it out of the bowl. So that's in here. Then we have the cardboard in between, so it's nice and structurally sound. And I really do enjoy this one. This one was a little harder. This one took me quite a bit to be able to figure out the structure and how exactly to cut it to make it look like a real London bus, because you know it's not just a straight bus. And I've done a bus before, and I think this one would be harder. I did the Magic School Bus last time, but so I'm done, and I cannot wait to show the clients. I really hope they enjoy this. I'm Marlene Norgard with Patriot Cakes. Remember to bake good memories.